All right, we are live. Welcome everyone to the Enter Shaolin Friday, or not Friday. Oh my God, Tuesday night. I was about to say Friday night. And I'm like making the witches fly. Oh, hold on. There we go. Sorry, everyone, we're having sound difficulties today. All right, so welcome to the Enter Shaolin Tuesday evening webinar where we're going to cover your Kung Fu questions, martial arts questions, fitness, health, wellness, and if you're curious about like what product we put in our hair or what movies we like to watch, we'll even answer that too. We're here to help.
We'll even tell you how many times we go to the bathroom.
That's a little weird. Let's not do that. TMI. Too much information. Don't listen to Sifu Larry.
No TP?
You want to know what kind of toilet paper we use? I guess we could answer that. That sounds weird. Anyhow, we are a silly, fun bunch, but we love martial arts and we are serious about that. Though we do joke about that as well, but we have some great information for you. So if you're new, welcome. And if you've been around and checking us out for a while, welcome back. We appreciate having you along. For those of you that have watched this and you already know it's going to be amazing, give us a like, give us some love, and make sure to send this on to all your favorite places, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff, and get some other people on. Yo, get back here, dude. All right. So Sifu Larry is going to
stain on my shirt. Dude,
you always have a stain on your shirt. We don't know why, but you do. So it is what it is. And we still love you anyways.
That's great.
This is Sifu Larry with Sienna shirt, who will be taking care of you if you're on YouTube. When you have questions.
Well, we need Patreons. I need new clothes.
Patrons. They're patrons.
What did I say?
Patreons.
What does that mean?
Well, Patreon is the place, but if they join it, they are a patron. And for those of you that have no idea what he's talking about, we have a program with Patreon, patreon.com/Enter Shaolin, where you can join, give us a small donation or a big donation. We're not going to complain either way. And it'll help us to get Sifu Larry some more clothes. And maybe allow him to wash them occasionally. And they'll help us, do more upgrades besides clothing Sifu Larry. And, as you can see, Sifu Fu, he doesn't have any stains on his shirt, and I don't have any on mine.
He does, they look really close.
No, that's just a shadow.
That's because they take care of him.
Everybody muted.
No, yeah, for right now, yeah, because I gotta take care of that. He's not muted.
Am I dismissed?
I guess you're dismissed. So go help the YouTube people. And get some clothes. And if you'd like to get some Enter Shaolin clothes that don't have stains on it, you can go to entershaolin.com/shop. And depending on what you want to donate on Patreon, we also will give you a free shirt if you decide to donate and help us at that particular level. All the details are patreon.com/Enter Shaolin. Check it out. And all right, so Ken says, how's the turnout looking for the next seminar? Some folks re-enlisting in the Indian Army. Yeah. There are going to be some familiar faces, Ken, and also a couple new. Let me see. Let me go look real quick to see what the total is currently. I don't think I updated the recent one. We had a person come in today, so they're not on the total on the page yet. So let me go check that out.
Like totally, dude. That was
so strange. Okay, so let's see here. Let me scroll down. So, okay, with the person today, we have 25 more spots. So that means we had 9 people. Now, some people are bringing their spouses. I don't know who all is going to actually be participating with their spouses. Usually people still put +1, but generally like maybe a couple of the spouses actually participate, though we would love for all of them to participate. So we'll see. But there will be more people than the 9 there because it looks like everyone is bringing someone with them. So that will be really cool.
That's good. We love people.
Yes, we love getting to meet the family. Actually, one of our family members online, Bob, was asking if Jaya was going to be there, and she won't. She has school. When she gets older, then she'll be able to come a little bit more and stuff like that and participate. But right now she's like 11 and
I'll bring my daughter Lily.
Yeah. Most likely Lily is going to be coming, Sifu's daughter, his oldest daughter. And but yeah, when Jay gets a little bit older and stuff like that and she can participate more, I think she'd have like a lot of fun and enjoy it. But right now I think it would just give me way too much more to take care of and do. So for right now, she's not gonna stay at our home, but she'll be staying at our old home at Seafood Larry's house with his wife and his girls, and going to school and all that good stuff. So she will not be there. And for those of you that have no idea what seminar we're talking about, we are going to have a seminar on April 13th, 14th, 15th in Baltimore, Maryland. It's going to be a Tai Chi seminar. You can get all the details, like where it's located, what's the closest airport, how much parking will be, all that good stuff, how much the hotel is going to be, and as well as be able to register. So if you are coming and you are going to stay at the hotel that we're going to be at, please use the link to register for the hotel that is on our seminar page at entershaolin.com/seminar, because we do have to fill a specific quota of rooms to be able to keep the discounts that they gave us. So please help us out and not have to pay extra. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So on with the questions. So Seafood Larry sent over from the Nomadic Cat. Sifu, I recently saw a video you made on rooting. Can someone use rooting if they're boxing and use footwork on the balls of the foot? Thank you.
Yes. Rooting does not mean being planted to the ground. Rooting means being connected to the ground. So there's a difference. So people often confuse sinking and rooting. Sinking is lowering your body to get a more powerful root. But just remember this, sinking doesn't give you root. It only enhances it if you have it. So that's really the key. You want to learn how to find your root. Finding the root is that connection that you can push off the earth or sink it into the earth and getting that power so you can drive it to your points. So yes, it doesn't matter the style, it's energy, okay? And it's about learning how to connect that energy from you to the earth and from the earth to your point that you're trying to connect with. So yeah, remember, in the end, it's not a style that's kung fu or karate or MMA or anything. It's a system of energy. It's understand how to use energy principle. And just the cool thing is energy is universal. That law exists no matter where you are in the universe. So it doesn't matter the style, it doesn't matter the discipline you have. It's understand the energy behind that, you know. A punch is a punch, a punch is a punch. You know, whether you do a boxing punch, a Muay Thai punch, a Kung Fu punch, a Wing Chun punch of any kind, karate punch, it doesn't matter. What's the energy behind it? I always tell my students the same thing. It's like, it doesn't matter your positions. A lot of people talk, oh, your arm has to be this, you have to be this many degrees. This has to, no, you don't. You can be in any way you want. It's just where's the energy point to find the balance and the control behind it. That's what matters. It's like walking a tightrope. You don't have to be perfectly straight centered. You could tilt your head to the left if you have a counterbalance to the right that equalizes and neutralizes that pressure. And you can walk any way you want as long as you are on point. And that's really the key. Whether you're on your front bar, on your heel, whether you turn your hips, or you go forward with your shoulders a little bit, if you stick your butt out back a little bit, that'll keep you centered. You'll be rooted that way. That's what matters, not position. It's the control behind that.
Awesome. Thank you for those tips, Sifu. And from Rick, we have a question about Tai Chi. He says, when you do the back fist twice, is that northwest or northwest, and do the straight punch, is that west?
I think you're talking about from section 2 when you're doing the repeat.
I think so.
It's after brush left knee, punch to groin. If you're facing north, okay, you would be going north to south. Okay, so, oh no, I'm sorry. If you're facing north, you'd be facing east at the time. You'd be going from east to west. That's where you'd be going.
And I'm just going to say this. I don't worry about all the directions and stuff. If you just follow what you're supposed to do, you will be in the right place at the right time. Don't get caught up, especially when you're just first learning. Am I in north? Am I in east? Am I in northwest, northeast?
I think they're asking that because they don't want to do it wrong with the angle wrong.
Yeah.
That's why they're asking that, because they get wrong angle, you know, and I think they're trying to figure out if they're facing the right way doing it. You know, it's hard to do it.
I know, but we've got a lot of questions where people are like hyper, like paranoid. Oh my God, am I in the right thing? Just know that your Tai Chi is going to be refined over time, and it will just increasingly get better and better and better. And just do it. You will be in the right place. It's going to happen.
If you're talking about snake spit out tongue from section 1, you would be facing west.
Yes.
Okay. What we'll do is I don't know where it is, but I'll have to print out another one and make another one. But I have directional faces between each posture. So
that would be cool to put on the site.
Yeah.
You can make a PDF with that. That'd be great.
I had made it. I don't know where it is on file. I made it before where you start off north and I would say like grass, the sparrow's tail, your body should face this point here, this point. I would go transition from northeast to north, stuff like that. So I'll redo that again.
I think that would be awesome, Sifu. That
way everyone will know
all the confusion. They will be like, bam, prepared and ready to go. That'd be awesome. Thank you for that, Sifu. So look forward to that in the near future. We're going to have a PDF with the directions and corresponding with each position. So don't worry, it'll be out before Sifu's book, I promise.
Yes.
So people are wondering, when's the book? Not yet. Not yet. Unless you're talking about the No Deck Na ebook, and well, then you know how to get that already. You got this. All right, so Sifu Larry sent over from Casso Franklin. Training in different arts, I see some are more full contact with training than others. How do students get a feel of real power without actually taking it, or just headgear?
Well, if you're trying to go full power and you're not capable of doing it, I wouldn't do it. You can get hurt from it. The idea is you would take the hit to what you can take and say, listen, I can take that. You give me a little hard hit, and then you can take it, and then you can take it a little hard. So you find that standard which you can take. So when you're sparring, someone say, listen, give me a hit. Okay, that's hard. I can take that, and I can feel it though too. So you want to hit me at that level, I can do that. If you can give me a little harder if you want to, then you can. You just have to weigh it out. One day you might feel great and you say, I can take a lot. Other days you might feel tired. It's like, listen, don't give me too much. I just feel exhausted. So being able to take it is it's a matter to that person and the way they feel at that moment. I've got videos where I take big shots, a lot of hard shots. Other days I'm like, listen, I'm too tired. Don't even bother. Give me a hit. When I spar, I'm conditioned. I condition myself to take a lot of hits. So if you want to learn how to take hard hits, you got to condition yourself. Part of the training is conditioning, and just learning how to take it. It's to me, it's not bad. Being hit is not bad. Where you hit, that matters. Get hit in the eyeball, the groin. That's not where I want. But hit my body, hit my shoulder, hit my arms, hit my legs. I do a lot of bone conditioning and conditioning, taking it. It doesn't bother me much at all. But again, you have to practice for that. Unless you're just kind of born physically strong. Some people aren't genetically blessed where they can just take it, so that's fine too. But others, they have to work for it. And so I would start light, get heavier, where you can take it, and then as you do it, your body does. It's like working out. In the beginning, you get sore. It's like, oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. It hurts. But then you keep pushing it. You keep pushing it. Eventually, you work out, and you don't get sore from it at all. You just get strong. And you get conditioned to it. And that's the same thing. Getting hit works in tandem with getting in better shape. The better shape you are, the more you can take. Develop the tendons and don't develop big muscles. Develop tight muscles. They can take more. Dense muscles can take more than just bulky muscle. That's more water than anything else. So you want to dense those muscles, like I said, more high training, high training, not heavy training. You just want to burn those muscles out. You want to get them to contract faster, get them to be tighter, and they'll be able to take much more punishment. And then there are techniques to learn how to take a hit. Learn how to root, turn the impact, not try to resist and take it. You want to get hurt that way. So there are techniques to it, but the main thing is mostly conditioning your body, getting used to feeling the hit, knowing how to not go against it, but learn how to absorb it with the hit. So those things help you.
Yeah. You definitely don't want to go like full on slot out at first and stuff like that. You definitely
especially in the head, because getting hit in the head can actually mess with your brain. Too many hits in the
So Sifu, what do you think about, because we don't normally train with gear, but they did mention about headgear. What are your thoughts about headgear? Like, does that allow you to condition yourself or really get that realism when you have headgear on?
Headgear allows you to go harder and take more without.
I knew you were going to come say something.
There's plus and minuses to everything. You know what I mean? But headgear is fine if you want to go harder, so you can dull the impact, so it helps you. to feel it as well. But I don't train with headgear. I train without it. I don't mind taking a hit in the head. Now, if it's too much, then at the moment, okay, I'm done. Oh, I got a headache, something like that. But most of the time, and it protects you so you don't lose your teeth. You wear a mouth guard, stuff like that. So it has its benefits, and there's nothing wrong with wearing headgear. But you want to do it without it too, because getting hit by headgear is not the same thing as getting hit barefisted. There is a difference in it. Headgear softens the blow, like I said, but if you're going harder, you can do that because, bare fist won't be able to take that. So if you go for bare fist, you might have to go lighten up so it doesn't give you the injury that someone go full force to. So again, when you're sparring, it's different. Sparring is not the same as fighting. Sparring is an element of fighting, but in fighting, someone's out to hurt you. So they're going to go full force. They'll do anything they can. Sparring, there's like control to it. And there's this, I'm going to give you hit enough to make you feel it, but I'm not going to do enough to make you get knocked out from it. If someone who wants to really fight you is going to try and have the intent to hurt you, And I was just telling my student today, on boxing gloves softens the fight,
Mm-hmm.
If you go bare knuckles, you wouldn't last that many rounds. You wouldn't take all those shots because they hurt you a lot worse. But with gloves, they soften the blow, so it protects the boxer's hands, but it also allows you to fight longer because the blows are softer. So in a fight where a guy gets like 10 hits and in the end gets one lucky shot, if it was bare knuckle, those 10 hits probably would have finished him. He probably never would have had that got not lucky shot to finish him. So it does change everything because gloves soften blows. Now you can take more, whereas if it was a bare knuckle, you might have gotten knocked out. Like in Ip Man 2, if that guy didn't wear gloves, he probably would have finished Ip Man from the beginning because that knockout would probably took him out where he would not have stood. But because he had the gloves, it softened the blow when he could take it. So there's a difference in it.
Awesome.
I wanted to add my 2 cents. Years ago, when I first started training, me and my friends, I had friends from all kinds of different disciplines in martial arts, and we would get together and go in my basement and we would try different things. Well, I remember we were putting on headgear and mouthpieces, and we were just throwing jabs at each other. And, you take the jab and you can throw it back. And then we would take the headgear off, keep the gloves on, throw the jab. And it hurt a little bit more, but we took it. Took the mouthpiece out, threw the jab. Same thing. And my one friend was like, all right. And he gave me these like MMA gloves. Like, all right, hit me in the face. I'm like, hit you in the face. He's like, hit me in the face. And I did the same type of just a real quick little jab to the face. And he went, boom, and he fell to the ground. It's like, oh, it's not the same. So we never took it like, we never did the same thing with the gloves off because I was hitting really hard with very little padding. So I can imagine even taking the padding off, what that does. And I've hit a couple of people in my time, and
This is not the same.
It's not the same, dude. People don't respond the same to real hits with no gloves and hardcore intention of wanting to hurt someone. So I think, and I've met people who always train with protective gear on, and they're like, yeah, I spar all the time. They're going to be in for a rude awakening when someone clocks them across the head just with their bare hand, and maybe they're drunk. They're dealing with somebody who's drunk and they're not thinking, or somebody who's on like heroin or coke or crank or some kind of hardcore drug, and they're just going to act like an animal. That's not going to prepare you for that situation. It's the truth.
There you go. All right. So Corey Rutherford said, Sifu, in the dragon system, is the dragon claw used only for grabbing, or can it be used for striking as well?
Both. You can use it for grabbing and you can use it for striking, of course. It can be used for both. So there's the limitation of any styles is the limitation of the fighter who is using it. There's no limitations. For someone to say this is only for the parry, then that's the limitation because that's all they know. This could be used to parry into a strike. This could be used into a grab. This could be used into this. So it comes down to that practitioner of how he wants to use it. So there's no, dragon doesn't really grab because, or snake doesn't have hands, so they can't really grab, but they do have teeth and you can use the fangs to take it. So it's just a matter of how you want to describe it. But snake can grab by the fangs. They do have, this type of hold. So if I'm going to grab, I can go into this and use my fingers as fangs to hold onto my prey, or I strike with the other part, or I can use a coiling with my arm, wrap into point, and then go for the strike in that. So there's different ways to do it, and it's a matter of how you can do it. Limitation of a style is by the fighter itself, by the practitioner. It's not by the style. Systems are made to grow. They're made to expand. That's what the concept of MMA is. You're supposed to reach outside what you do so you can expand what you do. So martial arts, and it doesn't matter what you do. Like I said, I'm just using Kung Fu because we brought it up. Kung Fu, that's why there's so many different styles out there. There's styles for this, style for a big person, style for a small person, style for, a heavy person, style for a light person. It's style for a guy who's agile, guy for a style for who's heavy, And the idea is you make it work. Like Russo said, you make it work for you. Everybody's different. Tiger style isn't good for everybody. If you're very small weight, then the tiger style might not be for you. You might want to do a system that's more evasive rather than stand where it is and drive forward energy. You want, because you're lighter, you might want to mix that dragon or the tiger with like a dragon or a snake that allows you to be more elusive, try to be more relaxed rather than try to be more powerful. And again, if you're a guy who's just bigger, you might not be as agile. So you want to be a leopard where you can move in and out very quick. You might want to have a stronger stance, have a stronger hold, and learn how to use that. The idea is, like I said, you're supposed to use it according to what you could do, and its limitations is based on you, not on the system. Anybody who starts to say, well, sisters can't do this like that, you hear a lot of times Wing Chun people say, you can't do this, you can't do that. That's because they can't do that. And they don't know how to make it work. So therefore, they don't know how to find the answer. So they'll say, no, that's not Wing Chun way. Well, no, that's not your version of Wing Chun way. Wing Chun is supposed to expand. It's supposed to grow. It's supposed to become better. It's not supposed to stay to the tradition, because you can see where it is now. It's starting to lose itself. MMA guys are destroying them because straight line punches is the only way to go. Hook punches are stupid. Why would you throw a hook punch? But yet Wing Chun guys, they don't train how to deal with it all the time. They get knocked out by it because they've never seen it before. So, you got to open your eyes and learn how to feel for energy and the different ways energy approaches, and learn how to use that for your advantage.
Thank you, Sifu. Appreciate that. So this one was sent in from Paul. It's pretty long, so I'm going to do my best. No. I'm going to keep his last name private just in case, he doesn't want this to get out or whatnot to anyone. So Paul sent in that he's just starting to learn Kung Fu. And as a Christian at the school that he attends, one thing concerns him, and he was wondering if he could get more senior Christians' advice on this.
I'm one.
He goes to his pastors, but they have no history or background in Chinese martial arts. So he thought, you being a Christian and everything and he saw our one video that we did on our Sifu's Corner on our other channel,
right?
YouTube and our Shaolin. So that's why he's sending this in. And he said, basically at their school, when a student is given a sash and they complete a certain grade, they have to approach an altar where there's a statue of the inventor of the form. And he doesn't remember the name. And he said, sorry about that. But he says they are then required to burn incense and offer it to him, then burn incense for themselves. And they burn incense to the earth. He was told by one of the senior students that this is not a religious ceremony, but that you're paying respects to the fathers of the art form and practice, and that you're also showing respect to the earth. I have my doubts, though, that this is not a religious practice. He says, am I, as a Christian, engaging in false idol worship? And should I do this? And would you, Sifu, agree? He was wondering if the Sifu would agree to allowing him to acknowledge God in his sash ceremony instead, which obviously we wouldn't know that. You'd have to ask. And would that be considered a deeply offensive request if he were to ask that?
Okay. There's nothing wrong with paying respect to someone, someone of the elders, paying respect. There's nothing wrong with that. It's really when you start to bow into another person and worship, that's where it's wrong. To give you an example, when my father passed away, we had like a Buddhist ceremony. And at the time, everyone was bowing down to Buddha. Me and my family, we stood to the side. And, I was raised Buddhist. So I had my aunt looking at me like, you need to bow down to your father, and I couldn't do it, and that's my conviction. I'm not to bow down before another false idol, so I had to make that decision. And me and my family, my kids, my wife, we would not bow down. We would not go into that kowtow position to bow before Buddha. And I know what that was. For you, I would find out what that true meaning is, and go to the teacher itself, and say, listen, what is the purpose of this? And let him know who you are and stand as a Christian. I mean, if he is a man of honor, he'll respect you for what you believe and know that you can't do that. Now, if you're paying respects and say, listen, I'm doing this out of honor for this person, that's fine. But when you're doing it in worship for another person, then that's different. I myself wouldn't pay respects to the earth. I mean, that, if that's just wrong. There came a point in which I had to kneel, but it was a respect for my father, and that I could do. I respect my father, I love my father, and of course, there's not a question. I knelt in this one section for my father, and I had to because I was the oldest son, and it was my job to come before him and stuff like that. So I didn't have a problem doing that because it was a purpose of respecting my father. But when it came down for Buddha, I would not do that. No matter what happened, no matter if my mother, my brothers, my sister yelled at me or got mad at me, I could not do that. I cannot compromise who I am in the Lord. So that's my conviction. You got to go in your conviction, pray about it, and get the Spirit to let you know. That's the most important thing I could tell you. Just let the Lord lead you, let the Lord guide you. You're Spirit filled, then listen to the Lord. If He tells you no, and the school can't accept it, then maybe it's not the place you should be. Because if it's a school that can respect you as a person, then they'll honor what you do or won't do. And that's fine. If they don't, then that's not where you should be, because they should not make you compromise yourself as a man of God or as a man in person with values. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. And I would say it sounds like to me, Paul, that you already know the answer already. But obviously, you said that you really enjoy the school and the art form that you're in, and you respect the teachers. So definitely, if you have that feeling in your spirit and you feel uneasy about it, there's a reason behind that. But definitely go approach them, because you said you do respect them, you like where you're training, and talk about your concerns and go from there. And like Sifu said, you'll know what to do and what you need to do for you. I know personally for me, I would not feel comfortable with what you described.
And if you need a place to train and learn from, we're here for you.
Yes, we are. Yeah, Paul, I know you've been watching our YouTube videos, but we do have a full training library with everything that we do available to you. So if you do find that you're in a situation and you're not going to be able to train there and you love what we do, you are more than welcome to come train with us online and maybe come to our seminars and all that good stuff too.
Not so maybe, you will come to our seminar.
Well, yeah, you should come to the seminars. You might as well. You'll meet a lot of great, amazing people. But it sounds like to me, you already know what you need to do. But like Sifu said, pray about it. Definitely go talk to your teachers and share your concerns as a Christian and go from there. You'll know what to do. Just make sure that you listen when you get those directions. All right. And God bless you, brother. And hopefully that helped you. If you have any other questions or concerns, we're here for you. All right. So let me see if we have any other questions. Sifu, while I'm looking for some more questions, can you just talk a little bit about what you're going to share at the Tai Chi seminar that we're having?
Oh, I'm going to do Tai Chi, something like no one's ever done. I'm going to kind of give you a different outlook of what Tai Chi really is. A lot of people do Tai Chi. They mimic the movement. I'm not going to teach you to do that. I'm going to teach you how to understand your movement. I'm going to teach you how to feel your movement, and I'm going to teach you how to control your movement. The biggest thing that we do differently from a lot of people when they do Tai Chi is I'm not going to teach you how to move energy. I'm going to teach you how to control that energy. And that is like the biggest thing I could tell you that is different from most people. I've met a lot of Tai Chi teachers. I've met a lot of Tai Chi practitioners, and they all know how to move energy. They all have this belief in the core and this, which is dead on. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's only half a puzzle. Without the wrist behind the waist, without the wrist to be in conjunction with the core, it's like having a very, very fast car, but no gas to drive it. So without that wrist, you only half. You're this beautiful, awesome car that's very fast, very nice, very expensive, but there's no fuel to drive it. So the only thing you do is you push it uphill and you got to let it ride downhill. And that's like a lot of effort, a lot of force. We need to get the fuel behind it. And the wrist is that fuel that helps. Actually, just think of the wrist as the car and the body is the fuel. So a lot of people say, the core. And I met a lot of Tai Chi people. They talk about the waist and the body. The body is the reason. But just remember, the body is the driving mechanism. The release of that driving mechanism lies, and the control lies in the wrist. It's not in the waist. That's why you can do Tai Chi, sit in a chair. You don't need to turn your body, but you need to move your arms and express that energy coming out to your arms. You don't need to move your waist. The waist is secondary next to the wrist. The wrist is more important. It's about getting the energy out from the core to your limbs and your legs and your arms. So it's not about sending your arms into the core. It's actually getting the core into your limbs. That's really what you're doing when you do Tai Chi, when you do it in term styles. So a lot of people talk about, oh, get it in the core, get it in the core. No, you're supposed to get it from the core and drive it to your limbs. That's really what you want to do. And so we're going to teach you how to do that. We're going to teach you how to get it. And we're going to teach you techniques that no one's ever seen before of that energy control. We're going to open your eyes to find it. We're going to change your mindset of what you need to do for your Tai Chi. And we're going to teach you techniques to teach you how to recognize that energy behind what you do.
Awesome, Sifu. I know I'm super excited about this seminar. It's going to be really amazing. Like I said, we already have 9 people already signed up. So we have more slots available for those of you that want to come. We do keep it a small, more intimate thing. So that way we can have more one-on-one time. There's just more opportunities to learn. And if you ever want to go to a seminar where there's no ego and pride, which I know is very rare in the martial arts community today, sadly, this is the place to be, because everyone is just as down to earth and amazing and chill as we are. Everyone's there to learn and grow. There's no egos. There's no chips on the shoulder. It's really, really great experience for everyone. So you can check it out at entershaolin.com/seminar. It is family friendly as well. So if you have, children that are into the martial arts and Kung Fu.
I hate kids.
Tai Chi. He's so silly. They are more than welcome to come. We know a couple, we had two teenagers last time, so I don't know if they're going to be joining us on this one, but hopefully they will be. They were amazing. So if you want to meet some amazing adults and amazing kids, this is the place to be. Larry sent over from Ender's Player. Do you play Mario? And I'm guessing he means Mario Brothers.
No, I don't. I don't play Mario.
I was gonna say, that doesn't seem like your type of game, Sifu.
Well, I played Mario, Super Mario 64 before, and that was fun. I just don't have a Wii. I don't have a Wii at all. I don't know too many people do. I would like to get it for the Zelda, but that's about the only attraction I like about Nintendo.
Yeah, I actually want to get one of the they came out with like they're not as cool as the older consoles, but they're like those all-in-ones and stuff like that. They have the Super Nintendo. I'm just trying to find the original one because I want the original. Because I actually love playing Mario Brothers. So I'm not into gaming like these guys are, but if you give me some retro games like Atari and some Nintendo, I am so game. So
I used to like the original Mario Bros. Where they jump and hit.
Yeah, I love that one. Mario 1 and 2. 3 was kind of like
Mario Brothers is what it was called.
Yeah, Mario Brothers.
And Joust was very fun. I love Joust. I used to hit the dragon right in the mouth.
Right. Yeah, there's some cool games on there. So if I can find one of those with all the old games on it, like I'm so gonna get it for my daughter and I to play. I actually got us the Atari one already, and what's the other one? Genesis. They came out with the all-in-one Genesis. I got them on clearance, both of them for like under $30. Like I was like, what? So I haven't given them to her yet because she hasn't earned them, but I'm like I can't wait. Then I'm going to start playing games too, just different kind of games. Yay. But yeah, so not currently, but if I get my hands on one of those, brother, we will be playing some Mario. Discerning King sent over, hello, when are you coming to Southern California? When are you coming here?
When you can set up over 20 people and we can get there, we'll do that.
Yeah. If you can get 25 to 35 people, that's like the sweet spot of people. And we could afford, to fly out there and get the place and stuff like that, to set up the hotel and all that good stuff. We will totally be coming there. Okay. So I don't know when that is, but you let us know. In the meantime, though, you could get on an airplane to come here or drive or take a train, whatever.
Or skydive.
You can skydive. That would be so cool. Could you imagine like as we're doing the seminar, someone skydives down? Only do that if you're a professional though. Please don't do it if it's your first time. We don't want you to get hurt. Dominic says, haha, Joust, that's a great retro reference. Yes, it is. real quick, I just want to give a shout out because I see we got a bunch more people on live with us on Zoom. We got Bruce, Dominic, Hersey, Joe, Ken, Marlon. Who else? We got Rick. We got Ron B, Ron H, Stephen, and Terry Hall. So, hey guys, so good to have you on. Thanks for being on there. I see a couple new faces, so that's cool. Let's see. So, Kurt Rutherford sent over Sifu. I went to a school once and they didn't bow because they said that when someone bowed to someone, they were honoring Buddha. I didn't think that this was true, but I really don't know. And they wanted to know, is it true?
That's going to come down to every teacher. I mean, when we bow, I always tell myself it's respect to a teacher, to a student, student to a teacher. A teacher cannot be a teacher without a student. A student can't be a student without a teacher. That bow is me making my respect to you that you want to learn from me, and I will teach you with the best of my ability. And he bows to me to acknowledge that respect,
right, to
my skills,
respect.
and that I'm willing to teach him, and that's that respect. It's a two-way street. It's a yin and yang, teacher, student, student, teacher. You know, that's the respect that we have. Hand open, hand closed, yin and yang, hard, soft, they're opposites. So that's the idea. One leg forward, one leg backwards. It's everything has a black, white. You know, and then there's a gray. You know, but every teacher is going to have their own reasons. You know, most teachers bow for the reason of respect. Now there might be a religious martial arts teacher who does that for his own personal reason. And so you say, when you bow to me, it's for the Buddha thing. And that comes down to the teacher. It really comes down to that. There's no standard. It's not written like in Kung Fu, everybody bows for Buddha. That comes down to the personal, teacher that you're learning from. He might say, this is between us as a teacher student. I tell my students all the time, we bow out of respect, you know. I, as a teacher, with a student, and a student bows for the teacher, I respect, and that knowledge exchange. And the will
to learn. And if you work with a training partner and you get done training, you bow to each other, you know.
Out of respect. The bow is respect. The Japanese, the Chinese, they bow to each other as a respect. I respect you as a person. You know, the Japanese, they will bow down to you. It's not to worship. It was a respect to you as a person. Chinese, Koreans, you know, all the Asian.
It's all about the connotation. What's the meaning behind the bow?
Yeah, the bow is, you know, for most cultures, it's a paying of respect to that person. You know, it's not to Buddha, it's not to anything. It's culturally, it's to the person. So when you're training, it's usually for the teacher and then the teacher to the student. Remember, it's not a one-way bow. You're not bowing to them. If that was the case, you're standing there like this. It might be out that for that worship purpose.
Right. That would be like
the teacher bows down to the student as well as a respect. Say, I recognize you as my student, like I said, and I am honored to have you wanting to learn, because there's hundreds of teachers out there that will want to pick me. I'm honored. You know, we have someone from our website. You know, I won't mention name in case, but he's from India, and he's got over 50 some years of training, and he's been looking online to enhance his training, and he picked us out of all these people, and I'm honored.
That's so awesome.
that you picked me. Like, you know, like, wow. You know,
Right.
guys gave us credentials. He's trained from all these masters all over the world, and he's looking for another teacher. And he's like, you know, I consider you my Sifu just because I'm learning so much from you. And what an honor to have someone who has over 50 years of training, and he picked me out of everybody. So I'm like, wow. Thank you.
Right? That's like respect. That's awesome. That is cool.
Humbling.
That is very humbling. Yes, absolutely. That is really, really cool. Let me see. I have a question from Alan. He says, I was wondering if it would be a good idea to practice on my mukjang by interchanging my wooden arms with some full arm springs to work out, steer the pressure. Is that a good idea?
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. Yeah.
Why not? And he says, I'm asking this because I want to make sure I'm always to the point and striking to the point and not pulling or pushing the point, but only being to the point to manipulate, steer with my wrist. I hope that is clear enough.
Yeah, the idea is when you're training, it's about training how to control the point, not just to hit as hard as you can. So the spring is fine. It'll give you the ability that if you over push, you'll see that you're overextending and the arm will give, and you're like, "Ooh, I did go past." So it's good to have. It's good to feel. You know, there are all kinds of training tools. We have the
the Wing Chun Rice Trainer that has a spring.
Rice Trainer has a spring in it, so and that's fine. A heavy bag is kind of formed like a spring in terms of it can move and it'll come back. So they're all good. You know, it's how you train. That's really matters. People go in the gym, they lift weights. Some people go in the gym and they just throw their arms. And some people do perfect technique. You know, those guys pump. They'll get a big muscle, but they don't get proper shape. They don't get that definition. So it's better to do right than it is do a lot and do it wrong. You know what that saying? It's better to do one technique right 1,000 times and master it than do 1,000 techniques and not master any one of them. So it's not about numbers. A friend of mine always says, it's not how long you've been on the road, it's how far you go on it. So you can be on the road for 10 years and went 3 inches, and then someone went there for only 6 months and went 50 miles. It's not about time. It's about the effort and energy and the proper effort and proper energy that you put into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Alan, I know you're a member. So if you go into, I believe it's the Wing Chun section under solo training, you'll see some of the Wing Chun Rice trainer training, and that'll give you a good idea what to expect and how to utilize your spring arms when you get them for your Mook Jong, and how to know if you're doing it right or doing it wrong. It'll definitely add a little bit of realism. Because, you know, if you mess up, that spring arm is going to come flying back at you. So have fun and enjoy. Discerning King says, I know a cool 1980s arcade retro place to hang out called Royce Arcade here in Cali. Check it out. Well, when we come to California, maybe we can have it by wherever that is. So we can go
make plans after the seminar. We go there.
Right? Wouldn't that be fun? We'll have like an Enter Shaolin, retro arcade day. That'll be great.
My favorite pinball game was Medieval Madness.
Medieval Madness.
That was a fantastic game.
All right, Discerning King, you need to let us know, do they have Medieval Madness, the pinball game? Because if so, it's on. We're going to be there at some point. That'll be really, really cool. All right, let me see if we have any other questions in our email real quick here. We took care of that one. All right, so this is kind of a vague question, but this could be fun. So the Proud Crowd says, sir, I want to learn martial arts in your institute. Please tell me the process. 1, sign up, AnnaShaolin.com/join. 2, schedule your orientation so we can help you figure out what training is best for you. 3, go through the Nodak Da one-on-one course and use that as your guide. And if you sign up as a junior above, 4, use the orientation that we did to go through the training hall and go to the stuff that we recommended that you work on depending on what you want to do. That's simple. AnnaShaolin.com/join. Start there. We'll help you through the rest of it. Bam. There you go. All right. We get that question a lot. You know, I want to learn Kung Fu. How do I start? Just start. Just go for it. Let's see what else we have here. Do we have anything else? It doesn't look like we have any other questions. Oh. No. Okay. Nope, that was not a question. All right. Well, we do have a little bit more time. So for those of you that are on with us, if you got some questions, now is the time. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up and go sleep or something, because I think we're all a little bit tired tonight here at Shaolin. Sifu was yawning at the beginning. Sifu Larry was talking about he was about to pass out. I don't know what's going on. We're tired people. We work too much. I'm not sure. But Muhammad Ali says, what do you think of karate?
I think karate has some great positioning in their arms. I tell my students all the time, karate has all these blocks in their arms. When they move, they go right techniques. The only bad thing is the energy behind that is off. You know, we have a 3-proof way of doing it. They usually do the common way. They throw the shoulders to the hands, and it creates a fault from the elbow, which causes them to break under pressure. I actually did a seminar for a karate school, and I had them block me, do the karate block, and I just broke right on through. And I said, let's do it again. I'll do it again, and you can hit hard, whatever, do everything you can to make that not go through. Went right on through. And I broke it down, said, okay, the reason why we do it, and I did, I showed him, what you want to do is send the energy here. And I broke it down, and when he did it, he actually was able to stop it, because now his shoulder didn't feel that pressure. It actually moved up past that point of impact, went to his wrist, and he was able to control me through the wrist. Remember, we steer through a wrist. we use our shoulders to try and overpower someone. But two things, the guy has an advantage. If he has momentum, he'll have an advantage. And then he has an angle, an arc in it, he'll have the advantage. So the idea is we want to have the ability to adapt to pressure change and angle change. And if you're using your shoulders to hold and push, there's no adaptability. It's just resistance. Your wrist has the ability to adapt. It has the ability to adjust to change the pressure and direction and angle and all that stuff. That's why we teach three-proof. And it makes a big difference. And, like I said, karate has some great, great structure. It's just a lot of times they use their shoulders to back up everything. And I'm not trying to knock anyone. It's just that's the way they're taught. That's usually what it does. And under pressure, you can see it always fails. But when they do it through the three-proof, and again, I'm not trying to tell them to change a style. It's change the energy, the way you produce behind it. That's why the no diagnostic system is don't let style define you, let energy refine you. We're not here to say this style is good or that style's good. We're here to look at the energy and say, why is this failing? What's the energy doing? Or this is why it succeeds, because you can look at the energy behind that. And that's really what it is. It's not about style. It's all about the control of energy behind it. But karate does train to get really good positions. We use a lot of those positions to get our interception points, to create strikes and counter-striking techniques. The old days of karate, they used to, when you hit, the idea is to break the bone when you do that. So they train to do that. But somewhere along the lines, they lost the energy control. They just use force, but a lot of strength with no control can throw you off balance on impact. And so it can miss because of that. So you gotta get the energy control behind it. You gotta get no deck down.
When I was younger, my dad started teaching me martial arts, and my mom, she didn't like the way my dad was in the military he was a career man, and he treated us like soldiers. So my dad was really, really hard on us when we were little kids. So the trade-off was my dad agreed to find a martial arts school for me to go to, which was a karate school. I studied Goju. And my dad went to 4 different schools and checked out the schools before he was like, all right, you can go to this school. And my sensei's focus was basically teaching us how to take a punch, give a punch, not be afraid to fight. And so a lot of the training was very grueling. Like he would have us get in low horse stances and he'd stand on us until we cried and stuff like that. But, I like karate. What I don't like about karate is what happened to karate in this country, which is you can get a belt, like boom, 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 boom. You pay your money, you stand there, and they just give you a belt, and you can move on to the next level, and you can get a black belt. I think in most karate schools in America, they allow you to test like every 3 months until you get to that first black belt. And then, they give you degrees afterwards, like first degree black belt, second degree black belt, and then the time frame's a little bit longer. But a lot of people ended up getting their black belts, and they felt very confident. Oh, I got a black belt. And I hear it still too today with people going, oh, 15 years ago or 20 years ago, I got my black belt, and, I can handle myself. And the person probably hasn't done any kind of martial arts in the past 20 years. Right. So I like karate. I don't like how a lot of karate is represented today in America.
How it's been watered down.
I feel it's been watered down. And I feel that the essence of what combat is and what martial arts is has been put on the side to just kind of like show, forms. And I could break this brick, or I could break 3 bricks, or I could break 14 boards and all this stuff, which has very little to do. Wake up. Come on, man. I'm talking. You can't be sleeping on me, dude.
You're boring. No.
Dang. I told you he was tired. Wrap this thing up.
So my point is, I think karate is good, but you have to find a teacher who's teaching for the love of the martial art and isn't so interested about how much money they make. If you go into a school and you see tons of trophies everywhere, and there's really spick and span clean school, and you don't see anybody actually doing what you would think is like martial arts, you should probably walk away.
All right, thank you guys. Yeah, okay.
By the time they're 12 years old, have black belts.
Yeah, there are.
I always like to say, back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, when you were a black belt, it meant something because you worked hard for it. Today, black belts are given within a year. It's all about the money. Karate.
My daughter actually knows someone that's a girl her age that's about to be a black belt, and I'm not gonna name any names, but I was just like, whoa. Okay. It gives them a false sense of security that isn't actually there, and it's worrisome.
She made me remember this. So a few years ago, I have 2 daughters, and I showed my oldest daughter how to do a straight punch.
Oh yeah.
And she came home from her friend's house.
I actually took her over with my daughter.
And so this girl, I don't know what degree belt she had, but she was kind of a mid-level, I think, student or so.
Probably training for at least a couple years.
So she said to my daughter, "Punch me in the face." And my daughter goes, "Really? You want me to punch you in the face?" And she goes, "Yeah, I can block it. I know karate."
No.
Or something.
They do taekwondo.
Taekwondo. Okay. Same thing, sort of, kind of, but not really. Exactly. I know it's different. So anyways, so the girl's like, "All right, punch me." So she was prepared for the punch, and my daughter did a straight line punch and blasted her right in the face. Did she break her nosebleed?
Yeah, her nose bled. Just a little bit.
She made this, and my daughter came home. She goes, "Dad, she told me to punch her, and I just did what you taught me." I'm like, "Don't ever do what I teach you."
The average Joe,
right? Unless your life is in danger, you have to protect yourself, because people don't understand how this stuff works. And my daughter.
Well, her friend wasn't mad.
No, I mean, but it was all my daughter hits really hard. She started to get good at her punches, and she'd take shots at me when I'd be walking away. And I'm like, "You can't hit me no more. You gotta stop. You're gonna hurt something." But yeah, it's just a funny story.
Oh yeah.
I was at a seminar
Careful.
out of this convention, and the teacher made a point. He's like, "Too many people are black belts and they don't even deserve it." And he made a proof. He took this just asked for a black belt. She was 12 years old. And basically he said, "You have permission to do anything you can to my student here who's going to just grab you. Your job is to get from one corner to the other."
I remember you told us about that.
Yeah. And, she did everything under the sun. This guy just went and grabbed her in the throat, and she just could not get out of it. And then, he's like, "Oh, I'll watch this," and kind of backfired on him because he told her what to do, and it still backfired. Because you can't just tell someone to do something and like magic they do it. You have to train to get muscles ready to do it. And I was still whispering to myself, I was like, "This ain't gonna work. I mean, I know what he's gonna tell them to do. It's not gonna work." You can't just say it and they can just do it. They must train to do it. And it failed her again. And then lo and behold, he took one of his students, and the guy or the girl successfully got to the other side. I was like, "This is garbage." But anyways, the whole point is you have to learn how to deal with energy, okay? Every fight situation is going to be different. One thing that you want, it's like learning to dance by just steps versus learn how to feel music. If the music changes and you can feel it, the common thing is the beat. In martial arts, the common thing is the energy. So it doesn't matter what's discipline or what the situation is. If you can learn how to feel and control energy, it doesn't matter what the situation is. You can handle it if you're trained, properly. When you learn how to think of memorizing movements and do mimicking technique, you're going to fail, because if it's not exactly to what you were trained to do, if the guy lifted his elbow a little bit, his arms were shorter, he threw his shoulders into it, he stepped a little deeper. If you don't know how to feel for that change, you will not be able to accept it, and you will not be able to handle it, and you will collapse from it. The greatest thing about Nodek Na and why we use our wrist is because it has adaptability. If the guy's punch is different from what you expected, you have the ability to adapt. A lot of people commit to the move. They commit into the lock. And the problem is if it's not exactly to what you were trained to handle at that point, the guy's arm is a certain angle, his elbow's down, this is here, then it can slip right through. And you're going to want to get hit. You have to have the ability to adapt. If his arc came just upon impact, you have to be able to feel that arc, and you have to know how to handle that arc and manipulate that energy and make it work for you. If you're just there trying to overcome and trying to make it so it doesn't change, then you're not controlling him. You're fighting him. And if he had momentum, he has size, and strength behind it, you're going to fail. You're going to lose. So you have to learn how to be able to adapt and manipulate that energy behind it.
Absolutely. Marlon said karate used to be the one punch,
one kill. Yes, and they would train hard for it.
And I'm sure there are still some people that can do that. Actually. It's just, it's the few. It's not as widespread as it used to be.
Moshe used to train.
It's like everything else. Like everything in the martial arts community just gets watered down. Why do you guys think I wanted this site built back in 2009? Because I couldn't find anything not watered down in two separate states.
You hear about
within 2 hours of me.
The reason why we're filming it because in about 5 years it's going to be watered down.
You hear about you know how karate has watered down, and you know a lot of people are real big into MMA stuff. If you go back to the 70s and early 80s and go watch some kickboxing fights back in the early days, they were brutal to each other, man. It was hardcore stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So Yang Long Nu says, what do you think of Southern Mantis?
It's good. It's comparable to Wing Chun. It takes a lower stance. They have a lot of arm hooking and pulling. You know, it's very good. It's made to fight between mid-range and close range, and has its legs for the long range point. But it takes a lot of arm strength. You got to have a lot of forearm power. So it is good. I compare it close to like a cousin to Wing Chun. I personally like the Wing Chun better because it doesn't require you to be as strong armed. It requires you to be more like sensitivity, control, allows you to strike close. Have you ever seen Warriors 2? It actually has a video of one of the bad guys is a Mantis, and the Wing Chun guy, he fights him. And you know, they can make a movie where Mantis beats a Wing Chun. I'm not saying that Wing Chun beats Mantis. Again, that comes down to the individual's training. But in the movie, the Wing Chun guy did prevail over the Mantis guy, and it was because of this help of this one person. But all styles have positives and negatives behind them, which is why MMA's concept is don't get caught up in this. You know, Mantis might be a close quarter fighting system. What happens if you take a guy to the ground? If you have no idea of feeling how to fight within the ground, then you're going to lose. What happens if you're a close quarter fighting system? The guy just makes long range kicks. How do you close in? If you're not used to doing that, then you can wind up losing. So it comes down to being able to adapt to differences in the movement. That's why you want to understand energy. That's why you understand how to control that. Know what's good in what range and how to manipulate the energy to make it work at that range. So you're not muscling the guy, you're manipulating the guy. You're not trying to fight the guy. You're controlling the guy's energy. So, but yeah, it's good. I've seen it. It's got beautiful forms. I think Southern Mantis, 7-star praying mantis, I like a lot. I've seen it, and I've seen good practitioners do it. I played a lot of people who are mantis people. So. Yeah, very, very good. I roll with some people who are mantis. They put a lot of emphasis on trying to get those arms on you. Because I was more in control. When they put the arms, I could curve it. And I'm like, how'd you turn that? You know, most of the time they say I can pull a guy's arm down with a quick jerk. It's like, yeah, but that's because their responses don't stop and lock the arm so far they don't want to get pulled. I go with it and I turn it back and I use it. So, which is what I think Wing Chun is supposed to do. It's not supposed to fight the force. It's supposed to close in, come in, and take the shots.
Awesome. Thank you. I've actually seen some of the Mantis too, where Sifu Larry and my daughter go. His daughter and my daughter. There we go. Dang, I'm getting tired. Okay. Where they go, one of the senior students does Mantis, and we've seen him actually perform one of his forms and stuff. And it's really neat to see. I really think it's a really cool form and cool art. Sifu Larry sent over from Shafiq Abdul Wahab. How do you choose a wing? A wing? Do you mean
Wing Chun?
Teacher, Larry? Okay. Well, next time, I didn't please check. All right. So let me try that over again. Shafiq Abdul Wahab says, how do you choose a Wing Chun lineage?
Does it matter? When
Not
someone
to us,
learned
it
that
doesn't.
before he became famous, did it matter? It's about seeing that teacher has something to offer and you learn from him. And if he becomes famous, like, oh yeah, I learned from him. But if your mom, remember, before he became famous, he kept playing. The only reason why he became famous is one of the reasons because Bruce Lee spread Wing Chun. You know, he was famous in Hong Kong area, but worldwide, you know, Wing Chun became very famous because of Bruce Lee. And, you know, that, you know, does it really matter who the teacher is? The question is can you learn from him and improve from him? That's what matters. Lineage is, you know, just a concept people want. And don't get me wrong, it's good to know where your roots come from. But does that change the art? No, it's the art comes from the teacher. You learn from the teacher because he could have changed it. Remember, Yip Man, I read in the book, the son said Yip Man changed Wing Chun to make it work for him. He took out 8 moves on the wooden dummy because he found it not useful and he changed it. So, and if you look, like we talked about before, you about, all these students, and yet you find all these different forms in Siloam Tao that came from one teacher. Like, what was that? Did he teach one student, oh, do it this way, teach another? I always say he was either very crazy or he was very smart and said, listen, you have to make Wing Chun work for you. So this is how it works. And you follow along the principles and it works, then that's fine. You see so many different Siloam Tao forms. You see different Chun Kyu forms. And they all trace back to Yip Man's, a lot of them. And yet you see different versions. But why? Does it matter? It matters is can you learn from the teacher? Are you happy there to learn from your teacher? If you're happy learn from your teacher, then go learn from him and, be the best you can be for him and represent the style, the art, but hold yourself with honor, hold yourself with respect, because it carries a long way. If you're cocky and arrogant, it loses value to me.
Right on, right on. So it doesn't matter the lineage, it matters the teacher. Are they teaching you well? Are they teaching you properly? That's what matters.
And are you enjoying it? Like if you hate it, don't be there.
Exactly. So Marlon says he wanted to know about, can you explain the gate theory in Wing Chun and how it is utilized in Nodak Na?
Well, gate theory is basically put your arms out like this, okay? You have what we call the inside gate, which is within the arm, and the outside gate outside the arms, okay? So when a person attacks, there's only one of two ways you can be, right? You can be on the inside of their arms or on the outside of the arm. So each has its advantage and disadvantages, okay? So there's also different theories like the triangle theory. A lot of people talk about the triangle theory, but when we're talking about just the gates, if you're talking about just simply the gates, the gate is the inside gate and the outside gate. Attack occurs if you're on the outside, the positive versus the negative. You don't go to the center line, but you get their backside. So, but you clear away from the other attack. It makes it hard for them to swing the second attack. If you go on the inside, it's more direct. You hit more to the vulnerable area in the center line, but you're also vulnerable to another attack. So there's always positive advantage, negative to everything. Depending on how you move and how you deal with the energy in that moment, it's like, to me, I always say, like, pick any two numbers equal 10. Whatever number you pick for the first one, the second one must correlate. So if you pick 7, then obviously it has to be 3 to equal 10. So how you start is not what matters. It's how you follow through and finish that what matters. And if you're on the outside gate, just know that don't overextend to reach the inside. Where it's harder for him to hit you, it's also harder for you to hit their center line from that. So they got their shoulders on to bring them up. That's why you got the backside, you got the kidneys, you got the back of the leg, you got the heels going to the knees. So there's always a positive, negative to everything that you do. Just make sure that when you do that, the positive works best for you. The negative is always hardest for them to get to. And that's the goal. The gates is, like I said, I personally like to go to the inside. I would rather shoot on the inside. I'd rather go for the attack than the defense. A lot of people cut angles. And again, not saying that cutting angles to the outside is bad. It always depends on the situation. If you're in a multiple fight, you may not cut inside because the guy to the right is right there too. So you might want to cut to the outside to avoid two of them and then move the next. So it all depends on situations. They all have their positive and negative, like I said. So it's up to you to judge and make that whatever you pick, you got to follow through and make it work, like I said, to your advantages. If you're on the outside, you can lop his arm down and pull him easier than if you're on the inside. If you're on the inside, you're better to pop him up and close him in. If you're on the outside, better pop him up and take him down. Again, everything has its positive and negative. It's a matter of getting your experience and knowing how to deal with it in that moment, getting it to be natural to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sifu, for those great tips. And that's it for tonight. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for our Tuesday evening Q&A. Sorry we weren't able to be with you last week, but from here on out, we should be good to go. And if not, we'll always let you know in advance. Dominic says, thank you, guys. Thank you so much, brother. We're glad to have you on. And real quick, if you haven't checked out Enter Shaolin yet, maybe you're on YouTube and you've been digging all the stuff that we give you for free, check us out at entershaolin.com/join. I promise you, if you love what you see already, you're going to really, really enjoy what we have inside the membership site. It's all of our stuff in full detail. So it's not, mini lessons. It's everything in complete detail from what to do, why you're doing it, how to know if you're doing it right, how to know if you're doing it wrong, and all the details in between. So check it out. And What else did I want to say? If you want to check out our seminar, go to entershaolin.com/seminar. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you share it on YouTube. Give us a like. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And make sure you share this video before Sifu falls asleep. Hopefully he'll actually get some sleep tonight. You know what's going to happen? We're going to get off of this webinar, and this man is not going to sleep. That's what's going to happen. Nighty night, Ken. Thank you all for being on, and we'll see you on Friday. If you have any questions between now and then, email us at support@entershaolin.com. We are here to help you, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.